A really interesting couple of projects over the last couple of years has been where I've been running Metaphors at Work. Metaphors at Work was the first business process that I developed for Clean Language. Very simple. You go through, you interview everybody. When you're working at your best, you're like what? An ideal team is like what? Currently this company is like what? If it were to evolve so that you and your team could work at your best, then it would be like what? You work with individuals, you bring them together as a team to understand one another, and then you get them to develop a joint metaphor for the organisation. It's a lovely little process. But a couple of years ago I had two business leaders where no matter how deeply we shared the metaphors, the way that they understood, the way that they heard and processed each other's metaphors just wasn't connecting. And so I called a colleague and I said, he was an occupational psychologist, and I said, I need you to come and do a profile of these two people because there is something going on that the metaphors aren't touching. So they profiled them and found that one was almost predominantly left brain, focused, determined, able to see things through to fruition. The other was almost ADD, attention deficit disorder, very strongly intuitive, but very low working memory, often forget what they just said, but also have absolute flashes of brilliance. And the two directors have really, really high IQs, both over 150, but completely different profiles. And so with the metaphors and the profiles in hand, I was able to go, this is what's going on. In this moment, it's not that you are dismissing or that you're not listening or that you don't care. It's actually when you speak like this in a very, very focused, long, ordered way, he simply can't track you. By the time you finish your sentence, he doesn't know what you're talking about. He feels bamboozled, and then he hears that as you bamboozling him. But actually, it's just that he can't track information for that long. And similarly, when he has a flash of intuition, and you ask him for the evidence, it's not that his intuition isn't correct, it is, but the evidence is not part of his makeup, it's not conscious to him, it just comes to him in a flash. So then when you ask him for the evidence and he can't give it to you and you dismiss him, he doesn't know what to do. So what we were able to do with the profiles plus the metaphors at work was to get them to chunk information into different sizes, to present it in different ways, so then they could connect in a comprehension way as well as on the emotional way with the metaphors. So then the year after that, we expanded that with a software development company where we profiled the whole company, and with their permission, then they all shared their profiles and they looked at, for this profile, what are they likely to be very good at, not so good at? And they were able to look at their job roles, their job descriptions and their metaphors for working at their best, and to go, oh, okay. So when I do this, when I give you lots of detail, and you wander off, it's not because you don't care about my work or appreciate all the effort I've put in, it's just because it's actually, you can't keep track of it. Or when you want to use this kind of software and I want to use this kind of software, it's not that you're just being pedantic and irritating, it's actually that this kind of software suits the way that you think and this kind of software suits the way that I think. That's where the difference is. And I think that this is going to be increasingly a really powerful tool, is to get people profiled, do some deep metaphor work to find out what do you like in an organic way. Go, okay, so this is what I'm like, and this is how my brain works. What's the best way that I can work myself? And then what's the best way that you work, and how can we work together? So I think neurodiversity, profiling, and metaphors at work is massively the way forward.